Hello friends, thank you so much for clicking on another video. Welcome or welcome back to Budgeting Over 40. I'm Melissa and we are here to do the debt update for the end of April. So let's take a look. All right, you guys, I appreciate you so much for being here. We are going to look at what the numbers were for all our debts at the end of April. So let's start with the first one. This is going to be our Apple Card. The balance to start the month of April, $1,168.50. I did make the minimum payment of $96. There was extra payment of $45.35 that was made. I am not paying interest on this card currently because I am managing to pay the statement balance before the next statement date. So for that, I'm not paying any interest, which is great. And we ended the month of April at $1,027.15. So this card did get a little bit of love in the month of April. Our next card that's up is Capital One number 2. So nothing technically was due on this card because as you could see, the balance started out at 0. But because the card closed, depending on when it closed and when I made my payment, there was some residual interest that I had to pay. The interest amount was $36.32, which is what I considered my minimum payment to be. There wasn't any extra payment or any purchases, and we did close out April yet again at $0. Next debt that's up is Upgrade. This is one of my personal loans. The balance to start out April was $23,052.90. And I remember being a little bit bummed that it wasn't under $23,000 when we closed out March. But if you have seen my debt update for March, you would have seen that March was a difficult month. So I was happy to even reduce the debt by a little bit. So I kind of just let it go that I didn't come in on the 23,000. Anyway, the minimum payment is $629.14. I didn't make any extra payment. Purchases can't be made. The interest that was lost to this loan in the month of April was $277.58. So this is not bad compared to interest that I have lost in other months. So it fluctuates depending on the time of the month or the amount of days in between my payments. We are ending, this is where I wanted to be at the end of March, $22,701.34. My next debt that's up is Lending Club. Now, Lending Club started out at $13,854.88. The minimum payment was made $1,059.22. No extra payment, no purchases. The interest lost on this one was $180.31. Not bad. And we ended under the $13,000 mark. We ended at $12,975.97. Now, what I have realized, because I do have an amortization schedule for this loan that I take a look at every month, what I do realize that going forward, each month that I'm making a payment, I should be falling in the next $1,000 mark. And my payoff date for this, or I guess the maturity date for this personal loan, is June of 2026. And I think I'll be able to, if not paid off a month sooner, is that I would have a reduced payment. It's not going to be this minimum payment here for that last payment that I have in June. All right, so let's move on to the next debt, which is my auto loan. The auto loan started out at $30,017.45. And just like Upgrade, I was a little bummed because I could have found $17 in the budget to get under the $30,000 mark, but I also let it go. I did make the minimum payment in April for $939.23. No extra payment, no purchases. The interest lost to this one, and it's decreasing every month. It is decreasing, and I'm happy for this one as well. The interest that we lost was $106.91, and we closed out the month at $29,185.13. The next debt that's up is the student loan. This one started out at $1,084.14. The minimum payment of $40 was made, no extra payment, no purchases. $4.04 was lost to interest, and we closed out the month at $1,048.18. Now, I did notice something about this when I logged on to take a look at this loan. So this is a Perkins loan that I did take out my first year of college. Now I won't even tell you what year that was, but the majority of my student loan was forgiven in 2022, I believe. But this one, I believe it went into default from the school. It wasn't consolidated with the rest of my loans. But anyway, after my loans were forgiven, this one resurfaced. And I was like, you know what? I had the majority of the student loans that were already forgiven. When I spoke to them, they said that they couldn't do anything about that. So I decided to just go ahead and pay it. Now, the amount of the loan that was taken out was $1,000. Now, because it had gone into default, there was accumulated interest and fees that took it up to, I think I had started out at $1,900 when this loan, appeared. So as of right now, I'm technically only paying off the interest and I would say the fees as well. So if you have noticed, or if you haven't noticed, the reason why I looked into it was every month this interest amount is $4.04. I'm not complaining, but how is it that I'm paying down the loan, but the interest amount continues to remain the same $4.04 every month? So because I am currently not paying on the principal, I think the principal right now is $968. So, not the payment that I'm going to make in May, but the payment that I'm making in June should now be reducing the principal amount because once I get under $1,000, I should be now hitting the principal. So, hopefully, that interest amount is going to change. I hope so. I'm going to keep track of it and pay attention to see if that's what's going to happen. But, it's a whole tangent. I just went off to explain that to you. But I was curious and I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but this 404 is month over month that I'm paying the same amount. But anyway, we closed out the month of April at $1,048.18. The next debt that's up is my 401k loan. Now, in the month of April, a whole bunch of different things happened. So we started out at $18,309.50. The minimum payment was made. So when I checked this in the earlier part of April, the $408 for the minimum payment was made. But I always check my debt balances at the end of the month just so I can close it out and put it on my spreadsheet and also close it out in YNAB so I have an accurate, I guess, net worth. Now, when I went in, there was an additional payment of $408 that was made. Now, the payments are delayed and they are on a delayed schedule to update for the 401k loan. So there were two payments that was made for $408. So what I did, just throw the second one into the extra payment. There was no purchases. And now for the interest, we lost $158.18. And the reason being, they did take interest out of the first 408 and then interest out of the second 408. So I believe like the first interest amount that I had was $81.91. But because they did do the other payment and take the other interest, this amount is what we're losing. I'm not complaining. This interest actually goes back to my 401k. We are closing out the month or have closed out the month of April at $17,651.68. The next debt that's up is my Discover credit card. Now, if you were here in the month of March, you would have seen that I did do a balance transfer onto my Discover card from the Capital One number two card, just so I wouldn't have to pay interest for 9 months. So the starting balance was $5,520.60. The minimum payment, this was what I was paying to Capital One number two, 101. So I went ahead and made that to Discover. However, Discover card closed mid-April, and the minimum that's due for May is $166. I was debating whether or not I was going to make this payment for April or just wait until the payment was due in May. But you know what? I did have the money set aside, so I went ahead and made the payment. Now, because this is a 0% interest, I saw that there was, some cents on the end. So I did go ahead and make a $1.60 extra payment just to round out the number at the end. There is no purchases, there is no interest. I have a little bit of time to figure out how I'm going to pay off this $5,000 just so I don't pay any interest. We are closing out the month $5,418. The next debt that's up is Mattress Firm. This is the last debt. This one is also 0% interest. Starting balance $1,856. The minimum payment was made for 67. No extra payment, purchases, or interest. So we closed out the month of April at $1,789 even. Now we have made some major strides in the month of April. So as you can see, Upgrade went down $1,000 mark. Lending Club went down $1,000 mark. Auto loan went down $1,000 mark. For 1K loan went down $1,000 mark, and that is amazing. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and sum it up, and I'm going to show you guys what the numbers are total for the end of April. To start out, the month of April was $94,863.97. The minimum payment that was made $3,375.91. Extra payment $454.95. No purchases. The interest that was lost $763.34. And we are closing out, or we have closed out May, you guys, at $91,796.45. Holy macaroni. I was so surprised to see 91 for the number to close out the month. And I am very pleased with this number. I am not even going to say I wish I was in any other bracket. I am very happy to see that we are now down to low 90,000. You guys, we are coming from, just let me show you. When we started out on this journey, October 10th of 2023, you guys, the total debt balance was $123,217.48. You heard what I said? $123,217.48. And I was drowning. I mean, I'm still drowning, but this was a lot to deal with. Last month's total, as mentioned, $94,863.97. This month's total, $91,796.45. That means we paid in principal payments, not the total payments that was made. Principal payments, you guys. This is the amount that the debt was reduced in the month of April, $3,067.52. Yes. Oh my goodness. $3,000, you guys. So total percent paid in the month of April, 3.23%. Wow. Last month, you guys, we didn't even move the needle a percent because it was a tough month. But anyway, the overall debt reduction since this whole journey started, $31,421.03. That means an overall percent paid, we have made it to the quarter mark, 25.50%. A quarter of the total debt is now paid off. Yes, I think I shall celebrate that. So I am very pleased with this one. What I'm going to show you next is the summary of how the debts change in each area. So for credit cards, we started out at $8,545.10. We ended at $8,234.15. So the change is $310.95. It's a decrease in the amount of credit card debt that we paid off. Personal loans started at $36,907.78. We closed out at $35,677.31. That's a decrease of $1,230.47. The auto loan, I have already discussed where we started and where we ended because we only have one auto loan. So the decrease was $832.32. 401k loan, that's the same. It's only one. So I discussed the start-in balance and the end-in balance. So the amount that was paid off $657.82. Same goes for the student loan. We paid off $35.96. So, I can't tell you how much I'm celebrating the fact that we have reduced the debt by $3,000. Now, what I also show you guys when I do my debt closeout is I show you the interest. Now, remember this amount up here of $763.34. Let's take a look at how it compares to 2024. Now, down here on the bottom of my spreadsheet is where I'm tracking the interest, and I'm also showing you what was the interest amount that was lost in 2024. So here we are in the month of April. April 2024, you guys, we lost $1,232.46. Did you hear me? $1,232.46. Now, this month, $763.34. Not bad. It's still a lot. It was showing 600 and change because the 401k loan did apply another payment and take some more interest. That's the reason why it went into the $700 mark. But I was trending just half the amount of interest that I paid compared to April of 2024. So I always tell you guys the total. I lost 14,000 $751.47 in interest in 2024. And my whole goal, or one of my goals for 2025, is not to lose that much in interest. So far for 2025, we've lost $3,479.29 in interest. I'm not complaining. Even though it's $3,000 that could have gone to the debts, I'm not complaining because compared to last year we were at $4,906.84. So that is major progress in the right direction. So, you guys, that is it for the debt update. We did pretty well in the month of April, even though, you guys, even though we took a trip to Jamaica. So, stay tuned for my April spending summary, just so you can see what happened with the trip to Jamaica in April and see how it affected our budget. So I appreciate you guys for taking the time out to watch this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys, I am nearing 900 subscribers. Please, if you are watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and click subscribe. If you are subscribed and you know of a friend that would be encouraged watching these videos, please go ahead and share and invite them to subscribe to my channel as well. I am hoping to be monetized this year because that money is going to help me to pay down the debt, this enormous amount of debt that you see here. So please, I am asking, I was going to say I'm begging, but no, I'm asking you guys, please go ahead and click that subscribe button just so you could follow along with the journey, watch me pay this debt down, and also see how we are getting out of this rut that we've been in for a few years. So I appreciate you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Hit me up in the comments and let me know how you guys did with your debts. If you had any in the month of April, I would love to cheer you on as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye now.